Alright, so Sketch is written and directed by Seth Worley. It is about a family, a father, son, daughter, who is dealing with the loss of the mother. And through dealing with this loss, the daughter kind of creates little sketches in her notebook. The son finds a pond with powers, so the daughter drops the sketchbook into this pond and her creations come to life. If you've never heard of this movie, I don't blame you, because I didn't hear this movie even existed until I was watching a Corridor Crew video with the director on. He was talking about how he made this movie, how he used to be a YouTuber and like an independent VFX artist, and he slowly worked his way up. So I wanted to support the film, because I like independent filmmakers, I like YouTubers, and I was just there for a good time. And did I have a good time? Yeah, for the most part. Now, before I talk about anything bad about this film, I want to talk about the best part of this movie, and that was just the vibe of this film. I would call this a wholesome movie. Good message, there's no really dirty humor, there's nothing really vulgar, it's a PG movie. You can take your kids to this movie and they're gonna enjoy it. The adults might not enjoy it too much because there's not really any innuendos or adult humor, but overall, it's still a good time at the movies. After watching this movie, my heart felt good. The story is a very simple one, told in a pretty good way. The film is full of lighthearted humor, and the message is great. It's not conveyed in the best way, but it is a good message to have for the kids. And for adults, too. The main actor, Tony Hale, I recognize him as a voice actor in a couple things. He was really good as the dad, and all of the kids did a really good job. Specifically the daughter, Bianca Bell. She did pretty dang good in both the comedic, emotional, serious moments. Now I want to move into some of the things I did not like about this film, and one of those things was the runtime. I understand that the director was a YouTuber, he used to make short films, and this is his big break into the theatrical release. And honestly, this movie should have just been a 45-minute short film. They really should have. I like the premise, I like the idea, but they stretch this movie out a little too much. Way too much, honestly. There are scenes that drag. This plot does not earn, or at least it does not have enough developments to withstand an hour-and-a-half runtime. There are scenes that just really don't matter at all, and there are 5-minute scenes that could have been 1-minute scenes. This would have been a great 30 to 45 minute short. There just wasn't enough content for this to be a feature-length film. I kind of felt like that last week with the movie Together. I definitely feel like that with this movie. Beyond the runtime, this film is kind of confused on what it wants to be. It's trying to be a comedy, drama, kind of horror, thriller, all at the same time. And it doesn't really work. It's got very strange choices of music. It's got moments of horror where these things come to life, but it's a PG movie, so they can't show anybody dying per se, and they can't kill kids on camera. It's got some moments of comedy, and it's got some really serious moments where this family is dealing with some real serious family shit. And combining all those can work, but in this film, it just doesn't work. There's a couple moments where I did feel for the family, one in particular, where I was like, okay, that was a good moment, good job on the drama. And there were a couple of jokes where I did genuinely laugh. Overall, they should not have tried to blend the genres so much. They should have just picked one or two of them and ran with it. And on top of that, for better or for worse, you can clearly tell this film was a micro budget. I wasn't able to find exact numbers, but there is no way this thing cost over $5 million to make. And I'd be surprised if it even cost that much. That's not necessarily a bad thing. As somebody who eventually wants to make movies one day, I'm very appreciative of how they were able to get around their small budget and still have these really good looking scenes. There's a scene where there's this monster chasing the bus, and there are definitely moments where they stick to the close-ups and they don't show the wide, and they only show the monster for a couple seconds. They are stretching that budget as far as they can. And all of this is kind of leading into the monsters themselves, the sketches. They didn't show them enough, which is probably because of the budgetary constraints. I would have been much more entertained if I saw a couple more of these sketches actually put on screen. And the ones that are there are literally only there for seconds. And while there's technically nothing wrong with this movie, I wouldn't say there's a bad scene or bad acting, there's no real great moments in this movie. While I did have a smile for most of the time watching this movie, I was never thinking, this is great. I do want to take a quick second to talk about the kid actors. While I do think all of them across the board were pretty good, there's a couple scenes where the brother and the sister are arguing, and the acting is phenomenal. These seem like real brother and sister arguments, like kids fighting back and forth. But But there's a couple scenes and a couple of lines of dialogue they give these kids. I think it was just too much for these kids. Clearly, the kids were not ready to deliver these lines, and you could tell they gave the kids the most important lines of dialogue in the film, and that should not have been the case with these ones. And also with the dialogue, while this movie has a good message, it's just not portrayed in the best way. Instead of showing, this movie chose to tell, and it just has the kids telling you what the message is, or it has the adults telling you what the message of this film was. And it's a good message, but it's just not told in a very good way. So overall, the message of the film is good. The cinematography is quite good. I had a smile for most of the movie. This is a very wholesome movie, but this movie is way too long. It should have been a 45 minutes short. The acting is good for the most part, but some of the line delivery is not good at all. And I really could have used some more of the monster sketch than we got. I wouldn't call this a bad movie. I would call it slightly above average. I'm gonna give Sketch a 6 out of 10. If you want to support indie filmmakers, this is the best way to do it. And I think if that's the reason you go to see this movie, you will have a good time. But honestly, I would say wait for this one on streaming. You don't need a theater experience. And honestly, it's kind of a background movie anyways. If you've seen Sketch, what'd you think of it? Let me know down below. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you want to. See you next time.